The Eagles are 2-0, but things aren't perfect. A.J. Brown is struggling, Goedert is trying to spark the offense, and the defense might actually be the team's biggest weapon. This game against the Rams could show us the real Eagles. The Eagles are sitting at 2-0. On paper, that looks perfect. But if you've watched these games closely, you know something feels off. Yes, they just beat the Kansas City Chiefs in a dramatic Super Bowl rematch, but it wasn't the offensive explosion fans expected. Jalen Hurts didn't light it up through the air. A.J. Brown barely got involved down the field. And a lot of drives felt predictable. That's the big problem right now, the offense isn't clicking. The Eagles are winning, but not in the dominant way we saw during last year's playoff run. Now, all eyes shift to Week 3 against the Rams. And this matchup has everything: history, revenge, and opportunity. The Rams are already hurting, missing their top cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon. That opens the door for A.J. Brown and the passing game to finally break free. But here's the twist: while the offense has struggled, Philadelphia's defense has quietly become the star. New additions like Derek Smith are making an impact. Za'darius Smith looks like he's been in mid-season form, and the rookie class has been lights out so far. So the story going into this Rams game is simple: can the offense finally wake up and match the energy of this defense? This is more than just another Week 3 matchup. This could be the moment where the Eagles show us who they really are in 2025. The biggest update heading into this Rams game is Dallas Goedert's return. He's expected back at practice this week, and that's massive news for the Eagles. Why? Because Goedert isn't just a tight end. He's a complete weapon. He helps in two huge ways: first, as one of the best blocking tight ends in football, and second, as a reliable target over the middle of the field. Without him, the Eagles' backups have been a problem. Defenses haven't had to respect the middle of the field, and that's allowed them to overload coverage on A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. With Goedert back, everything changes. He forces defenses to stay honest, he opens up space for A.J. Brown to finally see deeper routes, and he gives Jalen Hurts that safety valve on third downs. If the Eagles want their passing game to come alive, it might start with number 88 stepping back on the field. His return could be the key that unlocks this entire offense. Secret weapon, Cameron Latu's surprise impact. One of the most surprising storylines from last week was rookie tight end Cameron Latu. He had never played a snap in the NFL before, but the Eagles called him up from the practice squad and gave him a new role: fullback. And he delivered. On just 6 snaps, Latu threw one of the best blocks of the entire game. He absolutely leveled his defender, opening the lane for Saquon Barkley to punch it in. It was the kind of hit that makes you rewind the tape. What makes this so important is the hidden gem factor. Latu showed toughness, energy, and the kind of physical edge Philadelphia loves. He's not just filling space, he's adding depth and proving the Eagles can develop playmakers from anywhere. It's little stories like this that separate good teams from great ones. Latu may not get the headlines, but his impact could keep showing up in big moments. Rams' major loss, secondary wide open. Now let's flip to the Rams. Their defense just took a huge hit. Top cornerback Ahkello Witherspoon broke his clavicle against the Titans and is out. That's a crushing blow for a secondary that already had question marks. Without him, the Rams are scrambling. Veteran Darius Williams will likely step in, but he was a healthy scratch last week, which tells you everything about how the coaches view him right now. On the other side, they're relying on Emmanuel Forbes, a young corner who's still figuring things out. What does this mean for Philadelphia? Opportunity. A.J. Brown has been stuck running short routes the first 2 weeks, but against this Rams secondary, he should finally get the green light for deeper shots. Devonta Smith and the rest of the receivers could also feast. Simply put, the door is wide open for the Eagles' passing game to break out if the play calling lets it happen. Here's the real issue with the Eagles right now: the offense has become way too predictable. New offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo has rolled out a vanilla scheme that defenses are reading like a book. Think about it: when Jalen Hurts lines up under center or in pistol, it's almost always a run. Defenses see it, blitz like crazy, and completely disrupt the passing game. That's why Hurts has been under pressure non-stop. And it's killing A.J. Brown's production. Through 2 games, his average depth of target is just 7.4 yards, nearly 5 yards shorter than his career norm. Instead of explosive deep routes, he's running 5-yard stops and in-breaking routes over and over again. In fact, 48% of his routes so far are ins, the highest of his career. This isn't the A.J. Brown we know. No big plays. No yards after the catch. Just short, predictable patterns that let defenses swarm him before he can do damage. If the Eagles want their offense to come alive, they have to open the playbook and let A.J. Brown stretch the field again. Coaches respond, preaching patience. So, what do the coaches say about all this? Both Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo admit the offense hasn't been sharp, but they're preaching patience. Patullo insists the plan is to push the ball downfield more, it just hasn't happened yet. Sirianni's message is that the Eagles don't need to be perfect right now. The goal is to peak later in the season, not in September. And sure, that makes sense in theory. But fans are frustrated. They've seen what this offense is capable of, especially last postseason when Hurts and A.J. Brown lit up defenses. Now, after 2 sluggish weeks, everyone's wondering, will the Rams game finally be the turning point? This Sunday could be the moment the offense wakes up, or it could raise even more questions. While the offense has been shaky, the defense is quietly building into something scary. First, Za'darius Smith. 2 weeks ago, he was sitting on the couch waiting for a call. Now, he's wrecking plays against Patrick Mahomes, stuffing the run, and looking like he's already in mid-season form. That's the kind of instant impact the Eagles desperately needed up front. Then there are the rookies. Andrew Mukuba and Quinyon Mitchell-Campbell have been phenomenal. Through 2 games, they've allowed passer ratings of just 37.5 and 42.4 when targeted. For rookies to put up numbers like that? That's insane. And don't forget the trenches on the other side of the ball. Jordan Mailata has been the highest-graded offensive lineman in the entire NFL through 2 weeks. That's the anchor every great offense needs. So even if the passing game is still figuring things out, the foundation of this team, the lines and the defense, looks as strong as ever. One concern that did pop up on defense, Jalen Carter. The talent is obvious. He had some really strong rushes against the Chiefs, showing flashes of why he's so hyped. But the effort wasn't always there. On a few plays, you could see him run out of gas, and that raises questions about whether he's truly in game shape. Even defensive coordinator Vic Fangio admitted Carter needs to round into better condition, and Carter himself owned up to it. It's understandable. Nothing replicates playing a full NFL game. But with Jordan Davis showing major improvement in his own conditioning, the Eagles need Carter to catch up fast. If he can get his stamina right, Carter won't just make big plays in spurts, he'll dominate for all 4 quarters. Now let's talk about the brotherly shove, aka the tush push. The NFL is clearly paying attention. They've been cracking down videos showing the player being removed from Twitter, and refs are making adjustments during games to keep teams in check. All signs point to one thing: this play might be banned next season. But for now, the Eagles are free to run it, and nobody has been able to stop it. It's one of those small advantages that feels unfair, but it works. And it's part of what makes Philadelphia dangerous, especially in short yardage and goal line situations. Even if the NFL tries to outlaw it in the future, this year the tush push is still the Eagles' secret weapon, and it could be a key factor against the Rams.